Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is FTB's StoneBlock 3, the final episode. But not to worry, I've got a few things set in mind for us to do today, and it doesn't involve anything to do with these little two guys here, but they have been doing some pretty good work with the silverfish, just everything. Actually, I'll take that dark matter too, why not? So let's head on back to the base and get on with some of the final preparations we have for this explosive finale. So what I currently have planned is we're just going to try and make a few of these different singularities. I'm not going to try and make hundreds of any of these things or set up full automations for them. I mean, I could, but that would continue on with this series further than I had wanted or perhaps intended. So we're just going to see what ones I can set up before the end of the episode, and then we'll do a brief tour and perhaps blow everything up with some massive explosion options. So let's take a look at the first one here, Source Gem Singularity, which is made from 90 source gems. That's actually really darn cheap. I think I can just do that already because I already set up source gem automation. Not like massive quantities. I mean, I've got about 16,000, but this should more than do it. Oh hey, we've got slimes. Yeah. Turns out, by the way, that there may be some issues with trying to get those things gobbled up by the Narslimus. I found another solution though. Yep, there we go. So let's get this egg out of here, and I can show you a little bit about making these. Just tossing these in, we get a source gem singularity. There we go, 90 of them. We've got our first singularity created, and for that we get a random reward of bread. How excellent. So continuing on, we're at least going to take a look at each of the singularities and how easy / difficult each one can be. So 128 of something doesn't sound like too much, but when you look at the pig iron, it's how it's made. Let's take a look at the molten version, and the alloying takes honey, blood, and molten iron. Well, I'd need to automate blood being made and honey. Iron wouldn't be an issue. I already have that, which would imply that I might need to have some automation with bees or some such. Alternately, I could have them mixed up with coagulated blood and honey blocks, which wouldn't be too bad because honey blocks do have an EMC value, so I just need one of those. The coagulated blood, on the other hand, does not. Now, there is another method. I could get an induction smelter with clay and iron and, again, coagulated blood and get plenty more. This is probably the easiest method that I can see right now because it's just one of them and you get 2 pig iron ingots really easy. But, again, I really don't want to have to like automate coagulated blood. That could be a bit problematic considering, you know, what monster or what mobs will drop it and or players. I'm not going to be standing in there myself, so we're going to skip that. Now the train track singularity, I almost said similarity, singularity does have a bit more ease to it than I expected. For 80 tracks I would need to have a couple of deployers deploying 2 zinc nuggets, and then I would need to have it stamped at the end with some kind of slabs. This would be a relatively simple automation to set up. It would take me a little bit of time though, so I might come back to this one. We'll see if I'm going to get to this one or not. The palette and brush singularity. This one I'm pretty sure I'm going to be skipping. 3,333 of these, and it requires 3 different dyes, a lot of support platforms from Super Circuit Maker, some kind of wool and stick, and these are made from circuits which then are crafted and recrafted in multiple different ways. That's a bit of a task in and of itself, so yes, I'm definitely going to be skipping that one. Infused Endopearl Singularity. I think this one is probably doable. That's 2,000 of those actually. That's not that bad because it has an EMC value, so again I can just insert this into Project E and make it pretty easy. So let's put that on the list. I'll need to make one at the very least if I don't already have some in my system. I do have some in the system, and each one is, wow, quite expensive, surprisingly. So I will grab some netherite blocks just to help speed things up with how much that can make. Oh, I also have dark matter pedestals in here, that's right. Now with this in mind, if I take this and I put it in place, oh look at that, we've already got a bunch. So I can just drop a bunch of netherite in there, and it turns into stacks and stacks of this stuff. And I'm going to need a couple thousand, so that's not a problem. I can always keep inserting more. So let's make this a bit simpler. The neutronium compressor is a finicky block. it will only be inputtable through the center and outputtable or through the top and outputtable through the bottom, just like a furnace. So I could use something like laser IO or whatnot, but instead I'm just going to set it here, and then we can just use some pipes. So let's just put some item pipes along here, disconnect it from things like this, and then have it so that it actually pulls from there. And even better, I can insert one of those to speed it up, and then that will start taking out all of those. We can actually take a look in here and see how it's doing. In the meantime, I could even toss in, like, let's put in half of these and see how it goes. There we go. That actually sped it up a little bit. We're over 1,000 now. I think I probably have enough for what's going on in here. So I might just watch this for a moment until it gets to 2,000. It's very close, 1938. So let me put in 5 more of those. That did it. Okay, so we can just stop this as it is, take out the infused Ender Pearl Singularity, and we're done. That completes that one brown laser lens. Okay, well, Balloon Singularity. This one's kind of interesting. This one here requires tough fabric and a bunch of treated wood. We need 720 of these. I think I could do this one. I'm going to put it on the list. I'm going to take off some of these other options that we have. And we'll come back to this one because I think this one's actually going to take me a little bit of time to set up an automation for it, which I kind of like that one because I think I can do it. Ethereal Slate Singularity. This one requires blood magic. Yeah, you only need 3 of them, but to make an Ethereal Slate, you need to be tier 5 at a blood altar, and it costs 30,000 life points. So that's a bit of a long path to go because I haven't even done anything with blood magic. So we are going to skip that one as well. Wall Singularity. Guess what? We're going to be skipping this one too because, again, I have not done anything with compact machines. It involves doing a miniaturation crafting setup, and yeah. So again, that would be some more episodes if I really wanted to, but yeah, we're going to skip that one. Man of Steel Singularity, though, I think this one I could probably handle. 72 of these. So this is going to be a little easier than one might think. So let's go over here to the mana setup, and I can just toss in a whole bunch of iron ingots. And there we go. That's pretty much it. I've got 70 set, so then I just need to deposit these in that one chamber. Setting the neutronium compressor down, we can insert these. 72. Pow. We get the Mana Steel Ingot Singularity. No problem. Flux Block Singularity, on the other hand, might be a little bit more complex because Flux Blocks are made from Flux Dust and Flux Cores, which the Flux Dust process is a little bit of a hassle to try and get through all that. So we are going to skip this one. I mean, I could set up an automation for it if I really wanted to start making singularities, but we are not doing that today. I'm more focused on our finale at this point, but and these are just kind of like a nice to have for proof of some of the things that we've already set up for the most part. Node Overclocker. This is laser IO, and I don't know if you remember, but I don't think that most of these things will stack. So I am not too keen on making. How many of these do I need for it? 10,000 node overclockers. So again, we're gonna skip that one. And the Corrupted Ingot Singularity. This one here requires Corrupted Essence, which is made from obsidian, redstone, and lapis. And Vile Dust, which is made from soul, soil, or sand being blasted in a furnace. Plus iron makes the Corrupted Ingots. But that's 5,000 of them. And yeah, that would be an automation, not just me clicking a few times in my inventory. So again, another skipper. All right, this one I think we can handle. We've got this fuel in spades right now, and it only requires 45 for one of these. So actually, let me take this with me, and then we can just go grab some, because I've got some accesses over here. I think it's here. Is it here? I thought it was, or is it? There it is. It was here. Okay, there. The oak drawer. If I sneak click, you can see we've got lots. And in fact, we've got almost 40,000 of these, so I'm pretty sure we can handle this one. Let's set it down, put this in here. We get the 45, and it even uses up a little extra, I'm not bothered with that. We can just waste those materials. It's gone, but we did get the Singularity done. On to the next one, Endurian block singularities. Only 22 for a block of Endurium. I might be able to do this one. Let's take a look, because I think lead, ender dust, diamond dust, and fire charges. I think I can do that. Yeah, because I've already got 96 in here, especially since it's got an EMC value. That should make it really simple. So let's take this block of Endurium and switch things up. There we go. We've got a few. And what is the singularity? Is 22. Okay. So we don't even need that many for this to actually work. Let's set this down, and I'll take a little bit out here. Put those in, plus one more, one Endurian block singularity. Moving on to the next one, Pet Filter Singularity. This one seemed a bit silly to me because it's got milk buckets. You could set up a milking setup with either Create or Industrial Foregoing or something like that, and then autocraft into these, but I think I am going to skip that one because it would require 7,000 buckets to be made. At least 7,000 uses of a bucket. I don't know if you get the bucket back or not, and yeah, we're skipping over that one too. Now the Mob Soul Singularity only requires 45, and I've been killing mobs for some time, so let me grab some mobs. Mob souls. I've got almost 10,000 of them in here. So let's put those in there. There we go. One Mob Soul Singularity. Done. Real easy. Next part, processing tier 2 Singularity. This one is Industrial Foregoing, which I think you remember there's latex and all sorts of other things that could be inserted into there. I could set this up. You've already seen that I've been able to automate that without too much issue. The only problem I see with this is actually I don't see much of a problem with it. I think I could probably just insert this because I'm fairly certain we've got enough latex being made and or stored. Let me see just how we're doing. So if I come over here, I've got plenty of latex. I've got almost 900 buckets of the stuff. I could unlock this and we could just insert some, oh, I forgot. Diamond gears are a problem. Oh, right. That would be the issue, is that I would have to have multiple things inserting into this at once. But let's just, for the sake of argument, set a chest here for now and start putting the ingredients in that we'll be needing. I'm going to need a little bit more than that. Alright, so I've got 2 of each of these items, redstone, glass panes, diamond gear, and blaze rods, or 2 stacks of each item, all in this chest. Now, something I don't know is if I lock these in place, let's say I take a couple of each, insert these in here in any old order. Yep, it made it, and it processed it so fast that I wasn't able to actually get that. So let me try again. I could also just turn the redstone mode, run with no redstone signal, run with redstone signal only. So that's probably the smarter thing to do. Unlock this, put all these in, lock it, and then turn it back to redstone mode ignored. Okay, I got this. Now, I don't know if it will actually take items as needed from here, if it will only do like a hopper where it only takes from one side or something. So I figured we could give it a try, see what happens. And now if I click on here, oh, it is definitely inserting everything as needed. So let's just put one in there, and that should actually process those into what we need. It's just going to take a bit more latex than one might think. So let's start doing this, and then I can start taking latex into here. There we go. Yep, the latex is refilling constantly, making more of these efficiency add-on tier 2s. Those aren't too bad. And what is it that I need this for again? How many? 45 of these, which, how are we doing right now? Oh, there's only enough space for, oh, actually just about 45, and it's about halfway there. So let's take a look at the next one while it's making stuff. Polonium. Oh, yes, this was a whole quest chain. I like that they actually made a quest chain for making all this in here with the mechanism stuff. This was really nice, showing you how to do it. Though you could follow it back with like the REI stuff, but I'm not going to be doing that one. It is a whole thing in and of itself. Nether Star Singularity. 2,666. We're actually going to be doing this one. And while I think of it, I am going to be grabbing a bunch of these, setting down the neutronium compressor, tossing them in. Can I get them in there? Oh no, I did the wrong thing. I did the efficiency, not the... What? Oh, it's a furnace and a crafting table. I'm making the wrong thing. Stop. Give me give me those back. Okay, so I apparently did mess things up quite a bit here. Let's see if I can do this properly again. We're going to want a couple redstone, a couple diamond gears, one furnace, one crafting table. Some of you were probably screaming at the screen while I was doing all this earlier. And then we're going to lock that. Then I'm going to take all this and dump it in here. Take out the efficiency upgrades and start turning it back on here. And we've got processing tier 2 upgrades instead. I was making the wrong thing. We've got plenty of those efficiency ones though. And to continue on while that's making those ones again, I'm going to put this over here and we're going to get ready for piping things out of here yet again. And in this case, we're not going to do this. No, we're not taking from there. Is there anything being made? Yeah, look at all this Endurian. That's great though, because we're going to be needing it for nether stars. Now the nether star singularity takes 2,600. On the plus side, I've got over 1,000 already. So I'm going to start with just adding in one in here. And that should get things rolling a little bit. And I can always just empty out my inventory of the nether stars I currently have in the system. We'll keep a half a stack in the system just in case I end up needing that EMC. And that gets us about halfway there. Then I should be able to change this so that it starts piping out the remaining quantities. But as before, we need to speed it along. And that's taking those out real quick. We're already getting up to close to 1,700. Now I just need to drop in a few more ingredients. Funny how these blocks of netherite have been really nice for doing this. And while that's piping out, we're going to come over here, take a look at this. Yep, we've got those all set and ready to go. And we've got our compressor already set. So let's just break this before it starts making too many more. And I'm sure I just wasted a bunch of EMC, but considering that we're going to be blowing stuff up anyway, I'm not as worried about it. There we go. We also have our processing 2 singularity. And with that, we complete 2 quests. Rewards for that one, and rewards for that one. Now I do have another one here, the Nitro Crystal. I think that we can make this one as well. We'll come back to that one briefly. The Emerald Cluster Singularity, I won't be doing that one because it's Emerald Buds being made from Emerald Buds, being made from Emerald Buds, being made from crushed Emerald Buds, and so on. That's another automation we're going to be kind of glazing over. But the XP Jelly Baby Singularity actually sounds kind of fun. We'll probably end up doing this one too. And then the Magenta Matter one, there's 1777. I think we can manage that one because it's got an EMC value. That's a really easy one. So what I think I'm going to start with first is the Nitro Crystal Singularity. And Nitro Crystals, I do have a few of them already. It does require 240 though, so I don't have nearly enough. But I can use some to make some. And at least that's the plan here. I'm going to need nether stars, that's not a problem. Blocks of redstone, again, not a problem. But blocks of blazing crystals are a little bit of a problem, but not much. It just takes a bit of blaze rods here. And I already have tons of the blaze mesh as it is, so I just need to have this in place for it to be zapped into the new stuff. In fact, let's start off with just one. It should zap it and be done pretty quickly, but it's not part of the okay things to go through. So now it should be at least. There we go. And now you can see it's just popping through real quick. Now the problem here though is that when we get into the next part, because those don't really require very much. What is it, like 900,000? But to make these, they require 20 million at a time, which means I need to really start pumping out some power. And I don't think that these are actually going to be able to handle it quite well enough. In fact, it's doing quite well as it is. I'm rather surprised that it's nearly done. But I'm going to grab a new item, or rather an old one, an Ender Cell. I have already made one that is a little bit better than the Spirited style. Looking in here, I've got plenty of them in place. I just grabbed one of the Nitro ones. They're actually one of the easier ones to create because you don't need to have the previous version in order to do so. And as I already had some Nitro Crystals and some Ender Cores, it was really easy to do. So with these complete, because I know that they're not going to be able to keep up with what I have going on here, I'm going to take all of these rods off of here and put them on a new Ender Cell. Put that there. Now the reason for this is because I was getting, what is it, they can max IO is 40k, so that's not going to be enough, in my mind at least. I'm going to need to upgrade these a little bit. I think I've got dielectric casings, I've got blocks of quartz. It's the nitro capacitors, but I don't know how many I have. Can I make 4? 8? And I think I've run out. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've run out of. And there we go. I was able to craft up 4 out of the 5. I think that's pretty darn good. And it should be more than enough for this to work. In fact, I don't think it'll be a problem at all. We're going to put these all on here. And then I'm going to put the last spirited one on the back because I can. And this should upgrade it because it's taken directly from the reactor. And these can transmit a lot more power, especially from the Ender Cell going directly instead of from these. But I do need to get the next set of things going. So let's turn this off, putting all these things in here, and then I can take out this, put this in place, back up here. It should start making those. There we go. And that's what I'm looking for. The spirited, or the Nitro Crystal, not the spirited ones. Then I put it in the output, and we start making a whole bunch of these, 16 at a time. Hopefully a stack should equal the right amount that I need. And you can see that it's keeping up quite well. It is a little bit slower than the previous one, but not by much. And considering how much it's transmitting at a time, I think this will do just fine. And yeah, you can see that the power in here is currently off. For this, let's turn this on. We'll stop when full and start when it has less than 70% energy. Yep, it is currently just pumping out as much power as it possibly can. And there's a lot in the system currently that it is going through. I think it's got 25 billion in there, so it's got plenty in reserve. Now while those are working, I figure we can start working on some XP jelly babies, which I've not really used much of this before for the mob grinding utils, but I'm going to want an XP mold, as well as one of these XP solidifiers, some entity conveyors, singularity tank. Okay, alright, let's start crafting up this stuff. Alright, there we go. I already have an XP solidifier. I do, however, need one of these molds, which, is that just a bucket of XP and some gold? I think it is, so let me open that up. I have buckets of XP that I saved from earlier, so that shouldn't be a problem. And let's take a look at this, the XP Drain Singularity tank that I've got here. I currently have 53 levels. I could always get more levels pretty easily. And I think that this might actually require certain methods to be used. Requires an XP mold and fluid XP in its tank. Can be configured to export horizontally. Speed is increased with XP speed upgrades. Okay, well, let's try putting it here for now and opening it up, putting this in, crafts into XP molds. Oh, just by recrafting it, it turns into a jelly baby mold. Okay, well, then I can put it in there. We need to get some kind of XP going from this into that. So hopefully this will be enough. I don't know if it will accept on the side or not. Oh, it looks like it should work just fine. Yep, and it is filling up with fluid XP. Let me just stand over here and donate a bunch more XP while it's doing this so that I can be sure that we're getting a satisfactory amount. I want to turn it on. Oh, and it only takes one at a time. Oh, and this is the thing. I think that this might actually be a laser IO thing, maybe? Where I think it needs to take from the bottom like a hopper underneath a furnace. So let's put this here. Then I can sneak click this item card and it will extract from the bottom side of the block that it is facing. There we go. And then I need to have another card. And we'll try just putting a chest here for now and see if this works. This item card, it's going to be inserting into default, which if I just click it on this side or sneak click it on this side. No, it's just clicking it on this side. It should, yeah, there we go. It is currently just taking all those making tons of jelly babies. And that worked out quite nicely, in fact. And I can just stand here and donate plenty more XP. Now, I do have XP tanks, so I could, with a lot more than what I'm currently holding on my person. But what is it to make a jelly baby one of these? Just 12. So I don't really need to do that right now. I've got more than enough that I can do this. And I am curious, what happens if I just... Do I eat it? Okay. Wait, does it give me a level at a time? No, it gives me a random amount of XP. Okay, well, I have 12 of them here. I just need to put it in one of these neutronium compressors, of course. And if I put 12 in there, that's one XP jelly baby setup and done. Put the rest away in my inventory system to be blown up later. Taking that off the list, oh, it's time we go check on those nitro crystals. I'm sure that they're complete by now. In fact, I've got the... Oh, wow. Yeah, there's plenty of nitro crystals. I have a few to spare. So let's put that down here for the moment. Dump a bunch of nitro crystals in here until we get the quantity that we need. There we go. I now have a Nitro Crystal Singularity. Done. So that's another one complete. Now there's one last Singularity that I was looking at and considering doing. I know that I was thinking about the train track one, but I think I'll instead do the balloon one. So I'm going to need lots of industrial hemp fiber. This isn't a problem as I've had this being produced since some of the earlier episodes in this series. Now, most of the things in immersive engineering actually do not have an EMC value, so this actually makes it a little bit more challenging. On top of that, I will also need treated wood slabs, which are actually made from treated wood planks. You don't craft those with the creosote fluid. So let me go over here. I know that I've got like creosote oil. I've got plenty of it here. I have my mechanism basic fluid tank, and I can just click on here a lot until I end up getting the quantity that I need, which is, there we go, 32. Then I just need to make a whole bunch more of this, treated wood planks, which I've got plenty of. And so I'm going to make this and craft out a whole bunch until my wood stores are completely gone and I can put this in the system. There we are, over 700 of those. Shouldn't be a problem at this point. Now it's just a matter of getting all this in place. So I'm going to need like a lot of tough fabric made. And I don't know how much fiber I have. About 10 grand, which isn't too bad. Oh, I might need more sticks though. And then I just craft up as much of this tough fabric as I possibly can for now. Crafting up a bunch of torches just to be extra sure I've got everything. And then I get to craft up a whole bunch of balloons. And because this just takes longer than I had expected, because it does not really like having all these in one spot, or rather, they don't pipe in quite so good when I'm just shift clicking them in place. I'm going to have them automatically going in because I just feel it's a little bit easier this way to just watch the numbers. And then when it gets there, I can just pull the stuff out. There we go. That should do it. I have a balloon singularity. All done. Looking at the quest book, I think I did pretty good. I mean, we got through a lot of this stuff. And at least I feel I did. The things that I really wanted to get into and enjoyed, I did pretty good. Some things I just completely ignored, as you can tell. But other things I got into and had a lot of fun with. Specifically, it was actually a lot more of the immersive engineering stuff that I anticipated. And a bunch of the Britannia stuff. And a little, we touched a little bit on Ars Nouveau. But I think now is time that we go back to Britannia and create basics so that we can finish off this place. We're going to go on a little tour and then blow this place up. I think it is time. I have run around the base and set a bunch of things up. I'm going to show you pretty much the idea that I have in mind. And I did test this in another remote area. And it works quite well. I'm a little concerned with how destructive it's actually going to be. But let's go. Let's start with this. It's going to be Britannia focused. We're going to be using Mana Storm charges. Yeah, if you're not familiar with it, these are really powerful things that they don't just blow up once, they blow up a lot in a larger area. So, I have Pulse Mana Spreaders. And if you're not familiar with those, basically, when you use something with a redstone signal near one of these, let's say I get a lever, or better yet, a button. Let's just put a button down next to this. if it has mana in it, which it does, because I used one of these mana blasters to shoot it and just give it a little bit of mana. As you can see, it's like almost up to 3/4 now. If I click this, it does a pulse, basically in a specific direction. And that pulse, any kind of mana pulsed at a Mana Storm charge will trigger it. It does not get triggered with like redstone or different like effects like TNT does, but these are made from the Gaia spirits, so I did have to do a little farming on that. I also hooked it up with these redstone links, and I have a linked controller all set to go with this. And what I'm going to do is set everything up in survival, and then when I'm ready to press that button, I will do so, and then we're going to go into spectator mode so we can watch the fireworks from within and see how damaging, hopefully, everything is. Now, this being a spot, it's basically going to be aiming at a Mana Storm charge, which let's get rid of these. Hopefully it's some junk that I'm not going to need. And if I put this down, oh boy, this is just kind of scary. Actually, I'm gonna remove this button. I don't trust myself enough. I've backed my world up just in case stuff goes very, very wrong. But for now, there we go. It is now currently set with the Mana Storm charge being targeted here. So the idea is that I can remote detonate this. But the linked controller can only go up to about 128 blocks. So I have to be a little bit above the base because I've got some stuff really far down. That's about like 82 blocks or so. And I think the highest part is like 32 blocks above. So it's pretty close, but it should work as long as I stay somewhat centered in the base. Now I just need to run around. Now I should have about 12 of these things around the base. I'm going to start over here, and I've already like used my my mana blaster here to load these up with enough mana that they should activate this without a problem. And I'm just putting down Mana Storm charges in front of each of them. I have 12 of them around the base, and I just need to make sure that they are facing the current charges. I'm very skeptical that this is going to, I don't know, be as effective. I anticipate that I may end up crashing my game out because of the amount of destruction that this may unleash upon my world. So that's 4. Let's hit this one here. That's 5. 6. I don't like that that's right next to a pressure plate, but oh well. Then I've got 7. I need to go all the way upstairs, because of course I have to blow up the mob farm as well. 9-ish? Did I miscount? Maybe I miscounted. I don't know. Oh no, wait. I know I've got this one back here, and then I know I've got some more at least one downstairs. This is the ladder going down and up is probably going to stay because it's just a ladder. I'm not really too bothered with that. And I'm going to put this in front of here. I did not click on the brazier. I shift clicked on the spreader so it would place in world properly. Should destroy this area, but I don't know. It might just destroy the contents, and this room might actually be safe because this is like blast-proof blocks. But as we saw, some entities are able to crash through that quite easily. Yeah, okay. There are actually 12 charges around the base. And with this, I think I'm going to go up here to start with. So I still should be safe even if I were to go up a little higher. But what I'm planning on doing here is taking this, the linked controller. If I sneak right click, I can open up and you can see the channel that I have here. All I need to do is press W or, walk forward on stuff, and that should do it. So I'm going to click this button, and then I'm going to go into spectator mode so we can watch the fireworks. Most importantly, I need to remove any kind of claims on this entire area. Otherwise, this isn't even going to work. So let's do that. Once again, folks, I hope you enjoyed this series. Don't be afraid to click subscribe and spread the mischief to others. Feel free to visit us on Twitch, where we stream regularly. But enough advertising, let's get this going. Wow. Quite the explosive mess. As you can see, there are some things still living out here. Not much, and a considerable amount of it was eradicated. Surprisingly, the entire water wheel supply is still intact. Was not expecting that. Mob farm ultimately destroyed as well. Yeah, there's not much left there either. Even the central area where I didn't have any charges, I had them all around the edges. It's completely gone. Oh, the enchanting table's still there. And most of the Britannia area is destroyed, though I think some of it survived because I had the charge pretty far back in the room. That was really nice. Now, the blast protection area down here, I think actually survived. Just some of the blocks inside got destroyed, and that's about it. So this area was minimally impacted. Looks like maybe some little bits might have reached through the glass, but that's about it. And there you go, folks. A fond farewell to the series. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all next time.